I mean, it was one of those things where he decided just quickly, Malcolm, I must tell you this. It's like kind of thing.
Yeah.
And our employers forget that as much as we need technical skills, we also need what they deem to be soft skills, which is actually essential skills. And that is
Mm.
our leadership and those kind of things that we need to actually work on.
Wow, thank you. Maleshoane, you want to say something and then Minah?
Yes. When I went for my training, we were always told that as coaches, we are world workers. I don't know a coach who will work and not be able to give of themselves freely out there. Okay? I'm not yet a mom. I'm a sister. And the role that I have taken upon myself.
We're losing your volume there, Maleshoane. Speak again, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Okay, I'm saying when I went through my training, we were always reminded that we are world workers.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know a coach who will do this work and not be able to give of themselves into any organization or into communities that they come from.
Mm.
I have taken upon myself to do coaching and mentoring from disadvantaged backgrounds.
Mm.
I myself am not a mom as yet, but there are just so many kids who look up to me as their parents. In that way, I'm coaching them free of charge. And it has opened a door for me to get into their family structures as well. Because as a coach, you can see when you get into a household that there's love, there's potential here, but money is not there. What do? Do you turn around and say, they cannot afford to pay me? I'm not going to assist them. So it's always a reminder to me that I am a world worker. As much as I want to make money out of this profession, but what always in front of me is that I'm a world worker. I mean, you have people who are paying for other people as well. Just last week, I had somebody saying to me, there's this lady, I'm working with her, she's not well. I really need her to get help. Part of me was, I'm going to bill you as I'm billing anyone else. But I remember that you are taking the responsibility on top of all the responsibilities that you have. So I am going to partner with you on this one, and I would work with the lady. So you can never forget that we are world workers.
Okay, wow, that's very interesting way of putting it. I'm gonna come to you, Minah, now. Let me just acknowledge some of the people that I hear. I can see Muelo Mukwena. Thank you so much for coming. Palesentle, I can't read, I can't get all of your surname there. I hope I read it, your name, Palesiantle. Welcome. And then, okay, Tembos Matika is here. And I also see that we've got Kenneth Morris. Bakolile is one, sis Bax, good to see you. Oh, now good, Dr. Maud August Matanda, welcome as well to you and to all those people that are still here. And as I said earlier on, please forgive me if I cannot read, if I cannot see your name. But we are talking here about the issue of service. Minah, you wanted to come in here just to wrap up this issue before we move to the next one.
Yeah, I think Phetsile nailed it. I tend to agree with her. I think let's stop giving people things for free. Because they also tend not to appreciate them if they are so-called free. And I don't want to be political here. We've spoiled our people. We've given them free things and have destroyed them in the process. You don't need to do anything, man. I will give it to you. Just do this favor for me. I will do it for you. I love the system of bartering. And that for me, it's something new that I probably would use. I mean, I've seen, I mean, guys, he wants to buy 2,000 rands Nike techies because he put so much value on it. He will save to get that money. Now, if somebody does not want to pay for my services or barter, as Phetsile say, it means they don't attach any value to it. And I think we could look at what Kaoma is saying on the chat. He's right. There are a lot of Black people who are unwilling to pay for coaching services. They say, but what am I paying for? Just to talk. I know. They want to see something that is tangible and the money that they are paying. So I think the challenge also lies with us as coaches to find a way of showing them the value of coaching.
Wow. Thank you. I'll give you now, Macolm. I've been trying to, I mean, Macolm earlier on talked about the fact that, a lot of coaching is in English. And I've been trying to find a word in my language to say it's coaching. It's a difficult thing. And people basically, we need to carry them along so that they can value their personal transformation. Because I think that's what people do not understand, is the internal change that takes place for a lifetime that we're now talking about here. It's not just about, getting a pill to deal with the immediate headache now, and then that's it. So I think one of the issues that come up from what you are saying, guys, is the need to value coaching on the part of the coachee. In other words, by receiving the correct training and all of that, let me not say the coachee, but the coach, him or herself, to value by receiving the training accreditation. But also there is the part where the coachee or the person being coached themselves need to value the time and the effort put in by being willing to contribute something, including financial contribution, but also the bartering approach that Phetsile was talking about. And that's an African concept, I think, the issue of bartering. Okay, Macolm, you want to say something before I move to the next big question?
I think it comes down to this whole concept, what is value? And we also find a challenge with corporates where they want a return on investment. Now with coaching, I can guarantee you now, if we do your coaching now for the next 6 months, within 1 year, you might not even see a change in your bottom line. Not because it doesn't exist, right? Because the process is a transformational process that takes time. It's not an instant switch of the light. And if you think about it, people that go for training, say we put them on a 3-day leadership training kind of thing. Team alignment, I do a lot of team alignment workshops. I can take you through that team alignment workshop for the full day. You get back to the office, you're excited. By the next day, you are so bored because you need to do the same things and you forgot everything that you've done. Whereas with coaching, we actually take you on a systematic journey that applies to you to make sure that there is sustainability of the change. See, because the thing with training, it's a one-day wonder. And then tomorrow, I wonder what I did the first day.
Okay.
And that is the thing. So if we shift our expectation or our narrative from return on investment to return on expectation, it's a difference. So what is my expectation out of this particular process? I want to grow in this and this and this area. I want to build my confidence. I want to be able to speak in public. I want to be able to lead my team. I want to be able to influence. And once you get to that, then you understand the value of coaching. It's not necessarily ROI, but return on expectation.
Okay.
Can I just say something, Macolm? I want to say there is a beautiful ROI on coaching. It's just that as coaching, we're not monitoring that. We've moved on to the next client and the next client. And we're not seeing what our client is doing at the end of our intervention. We don't even ask them to keep a score of that because everything, when we coach, we unveil so much in someone's life that instantly, when they go back to the same spaces, they see so much that they didn't see before. So I am adamant that the ROI is out the roof. It's just that we're not in the business of monitoring and reporting into it. That's somebody else's job. I don't know who. Maybe we need to build it into ours. But And we're busy moving on to the next person and the next person and the next person, because you'd be surprised how many clients will contact me a year, 6 months down the line, telling me about the amazing things that they've done. And they're telling me part of the story. They're not telling me everything. They're just telling me that big highlight. They're not telling me what happened every single day, but every single day, I believe you, a lot has shifted. So I want to say, perhaps we need to outsource the monitoring and reporting of what impact we have when we coach and what happens in organizations from people that have been coached. Because if they really made a focus on that, I swear they would be paying for coaching as a priority in business.
Before you go, Phetsile, Prophet, I need to say this because this is something beautiful for me. Yeah, the one excuse that we get for people not investing in coaching, especially Black people, they say there's no Black coaches. This is what I hear, right? And if I look at the screen here, I'm the lightest one between everybody. And so I've also belonged to another peer group, and I'm like the lightest one there as well. So I think the myth that Black coaches don't exist is really a myth. Our challenge is, how do we bring it to the fore to say, guys, we are here to serve you. We are.
So can I say my last bit, because I have to leave. I'm also a mom and a wife, and Sunday is family time. So I'm really pressed to go. But this is one of the reasons I stepped into the teaching faculty at UCT of Center for Coaching, because I realized that when students enroll on a coaching course and they don't see someone like them in the faculty or as a practicing coach, it is demoralizing, because I'm doing this, but who am I going to be like if everyone in those positions is white? So I was motivated to say, not only am I going to coach, but I want to be there in the presence of faculty, people who are training you to indicate that there is room and space for us in this world. And I think my second obligation is to support people who are training, to be a mentor and a guide for them, because sometimes it's difficult to put your foot in this fiercely competitive market. How can I be that person who you can ask those basic questions to, who you can accompany to meetings where you can learn about making this craft your own, because it's the only way in which we will facilitate the entry of Black people into this profession. So personally, I feel very passionate about that. And hence, when Lonwabo extended this invitation, I'm going to support him because I want him to flourish in this space. If I don't support him, who else will, when he creates these platforms for us to showcase this craft? And I said to him, I'm only going to come if we're going to be talking about it being more accessible to people. And so we reached an agreement. So colleagues, I have to run, but this has been such a beautiful experience. And I am so in awe of my colleagues and what they're doing. It's very encouraging. Where I'm meeting you for the first time, but I already am a big supporter and advocate for the things that you are doing in your own spaces. Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Phetsile, I want to thank you before you dash. I want to thank you. I know you you told me in the morning that it's a family time and so on, but I really take my hat off to you for coming out to share such valuable points today, and we'll be in touch with you in the future. But thank you so much. All the best for the rest of the afternoon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
All right. Thank you. We've got Kenneth Thomas Mathia here. Jimmy Kanyile, who has just joined us. People are saying, Kenneth Morris saying it's valuable information. Thank you. Great guidance from Macolm. Bartering method is a great idea, Maud says, thanks for the warm welcome. And Kenneth says, Kenneth Thomas says, I'm loving this. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. This is a very fascinating conversation that we are having here, because we have to demystify this whole coaching thing. People need to understand what they can get into it, but what is expected from them, because, you know, in the next few weeks or so, I'll be calling on coaches, because as part of my training, I need to have 5 coaches that I'll be training. So I will need people who have, you know, a need for being coached to approach me and say, I need to be coached. And as long as they are committed, because what's important, we want people that are committed to personal transformation. So be on the lookout for that. When it comes, be on the lookout. It will be out in the social media here. I see someone talking about funding. Indeed, is a great challenge. I stopped pursuing the channel because I'm already funding my other studies. But my question is, how do you get Black people in understanding, and realizing that coaching and mentoring are of necessity in their personal and professional development? What I personally experienced is that most Black people don't feel this is a service that should be paid for. I think, Minah, you mentioned it. I mentioned Black people because I've experienced this with Black people more than any other demographic groups. Kawoma, thank you so much for that. There's a website here that people can check at Sherpa.
Yeah. So, yes. Brafet, I'm just adding in all the coaching institutions. So that's ACAP. That's the one that I did.
Yes. Okay.
And then I'm adding in the USB. I'll add in USB now, and then also you got UCT and BITS there.
Yes, there are these websites that are listed here where people can go and investigate a bit more about how they can be trained. But now let's transition, guys, to talking about you now. You have companies that you are running, that are providing services. Let's talk about. I mean, earlier on I mentioned, you know, different. Some people talk about life coaching. Is it the same thing? Life coaching and business coaching, or, you know, or executive coaching, career coaching? Let's just also talk about that, and also what services do you provide? Minah, let me start with you. Who are your target clients? You know, what people are you working with? Individuals? Are you working with corporates? Just tell us a bit more about your companies. Let's start with you, Minah, and then we come to you, Maleshoane, sorry, and then we come to Macolm.
Yeah, look, there are many labels that are given to coaching, executive coaching. They say it's coaches who coach executives and they deal with issues of work, life coaching, personal, and then business coaching. You're coaching them for their business to run and all of that. For me, coaching remains basic. It's about dealing with a person or dealing with people to help them develop and move forward in what they want. So that's, for me, that's at the basic. Initially, when I started, I loved working with individuals. I just relish in seeing somebody simply blossom and develop and flourish and become the best that she can be. And then later move on to corporate, and then I'm back on individuals. Now, well, I enjoyed being at corporate because I was invited. It was not my initial, I wasn't interested really, because I just felt that if I can deal with the individual, anyway, the individual works at corporate. But also I worked for some corporation, I will not mention it by name. I was actually chased away there after. Yes, it's an interesting. I was given a contract, a 3-year contract, but after 8 months I was chased away because at corporate level, I used to work with engineers. And so this company called me specifically because they knew I could work with engineers. And they said to me, they don't have the people skills and all of that. The first engineer I worked with, I got a a good reference from his manager to say, I don't know what you're doing, but there's a vast improvement. People are happier. But 2 months after I coached him, he left.
Oh.
and then the second one, I was given the second one. Also, after coaching him, he was improving, and then he left. Then the third one also left, and the manager called me and said, "Look, I had said you are doing something good, but it's not good for." and I said to him, "Listen, I told you this before, and you didn't believe me, and it looks like you did." I said, "Remember, when people leave, it means that's not where they belong. You might think otherwise, but it means they will not give you the kind of productivity or service you need." And it also talks to who you interview, who you take, what your corporate culture is. Those things you need to take into consideration when you interview people. There's no point you appointing people and because they've got the qualifications and you want to keep them, but they are giving you 70% of their productivity because they're not happy about this and that. So I said, don't take it as a bad thing. But no, he didn't want to hear me. He said, no, taken some of my best engineers out. And you know, they went out and they kept in touch with me. They actually became CEOs of technical company. One became a CEO of General Electric, South Africa. One went to open a branch at some company to lead that was specializing with avionics technology. And for me, I was very happy, even though I was sacked. I mean, I had calculated how much I was going to get for the next 3 years.
You were sacked for doing what you were.
I was happy at the end of the day because then I could get the money, yes, for the next 3 years, but I would not be offering the service I should as a coach.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Macolm and then Maleshoane. Okay. Tell us about your companies.
Yeah, so Mindflow, I think I gave you guys an idea of where Mindflow comes from, and it's literally that. How do we change your perception of yourself and others? That makes a difference. And so we do individual coaching, both from executive leadership, but also do team and group coaching. So team coaching, and maybe I can define that quickly, is where we actually try to maximize the team to perform. And if you think about it, if you've got a team of 10 people, we take them all on one journey, create common goals, common value systems to be able to move together. So from a coach perspective, that team becomes my client. I've just got one client, which is a team. If I do group coaching, I've got 10 clients within one group, as an example. So I do team coaching and I also facilitate. So I facilitate all the things, anything to do with resilience. I facilitate also gender-based violence workshops that I actually work with as well. That's something that's close to me. The other thing so various workshops that will help build the capacity of the individuals. And I think what I mentioned earlier is that even my facilitation has got a coaching style to it, because I believe that I can expand your own awareness about yourself. I can expand your capacity. So for me, my coaching principle is very simple. We expand your awareness, and we do that in various ways. There's either assessments that we need to do, discussions that we do, whatever, feedback, 360 feedbacks. Once you've got that awareness about yourself, there's a junction there where you need to decide what now. And that's where we start expanding your capacity. If you understand, this is the reason why I can't do public speaking, because every time I get onto the stage, I freeze, because there's a story that I tell myself. Now that I know the story that I tell myself, how do I reframe that story? So when I get onto the stage, I expand my own capacity to be able to go into the public speaking. So from my side, I work a lot with guys that's also in transition of careers, being promoted maybe from a junior to a senior, or etc., or people just making career changing choices. What next? So I worked with some people that's getting close to retirement to say, Malcolm, what I'm going to do when I retire? I don't just want to sit and wait for God. I want to actually do something. And then we go through that process and that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's high level what I do in my organization. And I enjoy all aspects of it in that way. Yeah.
All right. So do you guys work right across the country, or you have particular geographical areas? Before I move to you, Maleshoane?
Yeah, so I work basically online. So online is wherever. I've got I had a few clients international as well. So that's so one thing, we're a global organized, global society at the moment. So yeah, so online and then face to face where we can when it's local and those kind of things. And if an organization wants me in Joburg, I'm there.
Okay, thank you, Maleshoane. Let's come to you now. You're running a company called
Unravel.
Unravel.
Yes, as the name says, it's all about unraveling you as an individual and unraveling you within the team that you are in so that you can be able to unravel other members in your team. So my facilitation has a lot of coaching in it. Okay, I coach teams within corporate space. My heart is there. That's where my journey of working with people started. My heart is there because from work, we are taking all this toxicity back to our homes. So it can't be because we spend most of our time at work. I also work a lot with individuals, assisting them with their childhood wounds and trauma, so that they'll be able to understand why they are doing some things that they are doing and how are these wounds showing up in the other areas of their lives, and how are these wounds and traumas stopping them living the impactful and meaningful life that they should be doing. So I work quite a lot with individuals.
Okay.
I'm not married myself, but I have found myself in the space of working with married people quite a lot, to a point where I had to take this up to my coach and say, now I don't understand what's happening. That there's a demand here. And I come forth and say, guys, I'm not married. I won't be able to work with you here. But the demand is there because my line of coaching works with systems. Okay, so I am able to coach in that space, but I'm still not comfortable to go there, as I believe that only people who are there or who have been there will be able to do much better work than me. So I find myself in those spaces. I work quite a lot with corporate SA around issues of diversity and inclusion as well, racism facilitation. Someone, I think it was Minah, who mentioned the race issue, and in one of the books that she has written. So I trade quite a lot in that space of understanding the isms and the racism in the workplace.
Okay, all right. Wow, what a conversation, and the time that it took. I mean, it moves so fast, and yet it's so enriching what we are going through right here now. Because what you guys have been able to do is to really demystify this whole thing about coaching. You've provided clarity about the differences between coaching and all these other things that people need in their lives. But what's the value that coaching brings, especially around personal growth and transformation? And it's really, and in fact, Minah says, my niche is empowering Africans to identify and deal with self-sabotaging behavior. Oh, we've got so many of us who have self-sabotaging behaviors, things, that we can afford, we can afford to do away with, but they remain with us. Clearly, from this conversation, I've learned a lot myself. I really have learned a lot because, sometimes when we look at coaches, we really don't associate it with ourselves. So now here you are, ordinary people like you and me, who are actually saying, listen, guys, this thing can be done, changes can be effected, and coaching can help us in that regard. And people are joining in drove. I see Nangu Unswenswe, Unsiki Masiba. Welcome, Swenswe. Good to see you. Nangu Tokelwa, Libumbe, Pikoli. Welcome, Sisi. So much. Thank you so much for joining. If I just happen to miss your name, please forgive me. I'm trying to look at the devices that I have in front of me here so that we can at least acknowledge everyone who is joining. I know that a lot of people will be watching this thing later. How can people get hold of you if they really wanted to get hold of you? And where can people, do you have website addresses that you can share so that people can come back and get in touch with you, either through emails or Facebook page or social media, whatever it is? Just share with us how people can get in contact with you. Let's start with you, Maleshoane.
Oh, I'm on Facebook, Maleshoane Tlhabang, and on my Facebook page, Unravel Coaching Consulting Space. I'm on LinkedIn as well, as Maleshoane Tlhabang. And yeah, there are posters there. That's where you can get hold of me. Thank you very much. And by the way, myself.
Yes, by the way, I met you on social media as well, you know, and I read up on some of the things that you said, and I thought that let me get in touch with this lady because I think she's doing great. You working with school children and all of that, just really amazing. Minah, did you write how people can get into? I see Macolm here. As okay, I can see. Let me read your website or your contact details. Minah Coach, www.minahcoach.co.za, and I've also got her number here. Facebook is Minah Coaching, all right, and the number is 082-468-0375. Let me go to your link there, Macolm. Can you believe I called you Michael?
Yeah. For some reason, Rapet got confused with me and his other friend.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me to get hold of me, it's basically on my email address, which is malcolm@mindflip.co.za. And then LinkedIn, Malcolm Fiellies. If you find me there, you can send me a message, and then I generally respond. As long as you don't try to sell me Bitcoin or any other thing, I will respond. Because and then number is 083 20025 if you ever want to get hold of me. But yeah. No Bitcoin, please.
You don't want to be a millionaire, ne? All right.
I allow the blessings of those millionaires to go to them. I shall not intrude in their blessings.
Wow. Okay. Umamchawe Beauty Kotela is coming. Thank you, Prophet. This has been a highly enlightening. Indeed, it's been highly enlightening. Colleagues, let's wrap up now. I'm just going to give you 1 minute each just to share maybe messages. I'm going to start with you, Macolm. So just messages of encouragement to someone who's sitting out there who feels like, hey, my life has no direction. They may be in a big corporate company. They may be unemployed. They may be in some transition in their lives or being stuck in their life. What can you share with them? I'll start with you, Macolm, and then come to you, Maleshoane, and wrap up with you, Minah.
Yeah, that's what Prophet. So in our life, we all have our own journeys. And guess what? Nobody's journey is exactly the same. And have you noticed that when I go through a difficult part of my life, when somebody's with me, it helps me to get through it. When I sit within my own thoughts, I cannot sort myself out. And sometimes I just need that sounding board to help me just to figure out what is it that I am going through. Sometimes we get to our own answers without that person even saying something. Just somebody sitting on the ash heap with me, listening to what I have to say, and then playing back to me, this is what you've said, will help me. Whether it's a career choice, whether you feel stuck, it is not the end of the world. It is normal to feel stuck at some point in our lives. So the one thing I want to say is don't give up. Don't feel despondent. Reach out to someone. And coaching can really assist you, help you to get unstuck and get you to the place where you want to be. Even if you don't know now where you want to be, we help you to define that. You can make a life-changing decision that will make a positive shift in your life just because you decided, let me get a thinking partner, somebody that's going to disrupt my thoughts, and I'm vulnerable enough to be able to open myself to that. So don't give up hope. Doesn't matter what state of life you're in. Help there is help out there. We can really support you in that way.
Thank you so much, Macolm. Maleshoane?
Identify people who will tell you the words that you have never been told before. Be brave now to hear some uncomfortable truth. And in the words of one of the people that I believe in so much, Eckhart Tolle, Get the inside right, and the environment will shift. Check yourself. If there's unforgiveness, work on that. If there is fear, face it head on. If there's attitude of not being grateful for things, work on that. Because once you can get the inside right, the environment will definitely shift for you. Lead with love, and remember that love starts with yourself. Go back and write yourself a letter of love, because you do have it in you to be whatever and whoever you want to be in life. And life is a friend. Life is your friend.
Wow, thank you so much for those powerful words there. Minah, please wrap it up for us.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pat, for the privilege you've given me and the other coaches to meet online. I've learned a lot. Thank you for providing this platform. For our listeners, our viewers, one thing: whenever you need the services of a coach, one thing you must ask a coach. They normally do that, but if they don't, ask that they take you through understanding what your purpose is. Once you understand that, success comes automatically. The reason we are not successful, we are busy with other people's purposes that we were not created for. For those who are Christian, who read the Bible, the book of Jeremiah says, I knew you before I put you in your mother's womb. Meaning that I had a specific purpose for you. When you begin to struggle and you don't get things and know that you are probably out of sync with your purpose. If we plant an apple tree, it must produce apples. If it struggles to produce apples and is fighting to produce oranges or pears, it will struggle until we cut it down. So that is what we are struggling with as human beings. Get your purpose. I tell you, you will never work a day if you work within the parameters of your purpose. Nobody will be able to say no to you. You will attain success in unprecedented ways. Ask me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not theorizing. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. What a way to end this conversation. I feel guilty for ending it, but guys, I really think that you've outdone yourself. Your investment into this program today is really, we cannot put a value to it. I feel like if I had money, I would even be prepared to pay you for this hour and a half of you coming out here to talk to us. But I'm sure our viewers out there have benefited a lot more from your contribution. Someone says, Muelo Mukwena says, thank you so much. I'm very glad I took the time to join and learn. You see, that's exactly what we're talking about, investment in your own learning. They say, I can now say I understand what coaching is better and is encouraged to get a qualified coach and learn from there. I just lost that a bit more, but this for me shows the value of your contribution today. Jimmy Kanyile says, powerful indeed, powerful conversation. I can testify. So people are really enjoying this. And for those of you at home who have friends who may not have been able to join us this afternoon, you can always come to my Facebook page, Patrick Kulati on Facebook, and you can get this and watch it together with other people. But also we've got other conversations that we've been having over the last year and a half. The purpose of this platform, by the way, we're going to give it a name very soon. It's going to be a moment of insight and growth. All right, this is what it is. It's moment of insight and growth. We're going to label it as that because we are here to create an insight, to create a seed for transformation in the future. So we're inviting people to contact us, and if they feel that we can interview someone or whatever the case may be, please feel free to contact me. We have this on Sundays. We don't do it every Sunday, but we try and advise people in advance. Really, thank you so much to all of you, and may God bless you as our guests as well as our viewers at home. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, everyone.
And Macolm.
Yeah.
Lovely meeting you. Hope
Yes.
we'll meet
Lovely
in person sometime.
Yes,
Thank
please, Macolm, please make sure that you send that invitation again for that Africa coaches session. Tell us briefly about that before we dash, so that we know.
Yeah, so next week, starting tomorrow, we've got International Coaching Week on the International Coaching Federation. So worldwide, we got coaches offering pro bono sessions and things like that. So you might just find yourself an ICF coach who's willing to do a pro bono session or two with you during the week. But we also have programs running through for coaches throughout this week. And on Tuesday night, if you're a coach, you want to be there, because we are bringing all coaches from Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, potentially Morocco is also joining us, South Africa. So we're all coming together as a Pan-African group, and we're going to discuss about coaching within us. There's a big thing. Remember, Africa is Africa, Europe is Europe. How do we Africanize coaching? How do we make coaching relevant to our people? How do we make sure with still keeping to the principles of coaching? So if you're a coach and you really want to have that discussion, join us. I'll share it with you, and then you can maybe share it on your Facebook as well. Just for other coaches that can connect with you from that perspective.
Thank you so much for that. You reminded me, I was in Atlanta some years ago, 3 years ago, and I was coached there and I keep saying to people, I was coached by Jesus. The name of the guy was Jesus.
Jesus.
I always say I was coached by Jesus. I don't think you've had that opportunity. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for that. And please enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I really appreciate it. Again, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Maleshoane. Thanks, Minah. Thanks, Macolm. And thanks, Phetsile. Thanks to all of you who watched it today. I really appreciate your indulgence. Thank you. Thank you, Sis Sparks. Thank you. Thank you, Katin. We'll share the link, yes, for Macolm. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We will share the link right here on my Facebook page. I thank you, all of you, again. All the best. Over and out.